Good afternoon on this misty but mildly clement spring day,
My
my
question Clement, but anyway.
Vagabond viewers. I'm here with my old Vagabond companion and master Veek
Good
at
lad.
North Yorkshire's Wainstones, roughly 4 miles south of Stokesley. Now,
We're at the southern end of Hasty Bank on
Yes.
the Cleveland Escarpment.
clarifying that. So we're here for a specifically good reason today, as per usual. We've come to tell the inspiring folk tale of how these stones obtained their mysterious name, which, coincidentally enough, remained a secret until Master Leek's chance meeting in Keighley with an old academic friend of his, who told him the tangled tale over Rossi's delicious coffee and cake, apparently last November. So without further preamble, I shall let him tell the introduction to this tale of that fateful meeting in his own unique way.
So as I said, I happened to meet Sam and Rox at Ross's Cafe in Keighley. It would have been mid-November last year. And Roxanne gave me the story. This is roughly how it starts.
Roxanne Score, isn't it?
Roxanne Score, who's now a journalist, of
Friend of his.
course. So, Jack and Mary Harrison, a retired couple living in the old Vagabond cottage at Battersby Junction. In 1985, Jack found an old conversation book, Vagabond Compass and Maps, in a small sturdy oak trunk in the attic in the course of a loft conversion. They took the books to Stokely's Oroban Antique. That's a tongue twister.
That's a tongue twister. Don't try that at home, viewers.
Oroban Antiquarian Books,
It's a real bookshop, by the way.
who valued it for them and suggested they put it in Stokely's specialist book auction for the best price. Many offers were made, from among others the British Library, the Vagabond Archives in Ely, and Keighley University, where the librarian, Cressida Wilson, offered £394.
Wow, very specific number, isn't it?
It's an interesting price, that. That's that fateful number again.
Definitely.
And it was decided by the auctioneer that the book would be jointly owned by Ely and Keighley on a kind of 10-year rotation, 10 years of each.
Yes, that's good.
Now, back in the early 2020s, 2022, Roxanne was in the second year at Keighley studying literature, and as part of her course, she did a module on folklore.
English folklore,
English
presumably.
folklore,
Right,
yes.
good.
So by happy chance, she came across this volume, read it.
Serendipity.
Well, we suspect otherwise, actually, but anyway.
Okay.
And subsequently wrote an essay on the Wainstones and the associated giants as part of her second year assignments. Now, as I say, I met Sam and Rox last November.
That was definitely serendipity.
That was Sam. That was pure chance. So I was on there on other business entirely, Vagabond business. But I haven't to mention that Darren Bedell here was in search of a seasonal folklore story from North Yorkshire.
Folktale.
And she suggested that we use her Wainstone story as a basis for a tale.
That inspired us to come here.
And it did indeed inspire us to come here.
Right.
Now, she also mentioned to me more specifically the Norse origins of this story.
Wow, the plot thickens,
So
viewers.
before Darren takes on the main burden, I shall read the Norse original,
Wow.
So-
A saga.
though in English. So,
Vagabond saga.
Wade the Giant was the son of Vilkenus, a king of Norway, and the serpent-tailed mermaid Vakhilt. From his father, he inherited his great strength, and from his mother he gained a love of the sea and all that moves on and in it, and more besides. For it is said among those who know that Vakhilt is one of the daughters of Dagon. Wade grew prodigiously, such that by the age of 5 he was as tall as his father and broad besides.
How tall was his dad?
Legend is silent. And when he was come into the fullness of his manhood, he stood 3 fathoms high in his leather
3
boots,
fathoms high. 18 feet, viewers.
broad-shouldered and shaggy-haired.
Needs a haircut.
He took to wife Bel, the daughter of Loki and Angrabode, a giantess of Falster in Denmark, and she bore him 3 sons, Wayland, Egil and Slagvin.
Royal connection.
Wayland was apprenticed to Mimir the dwarf, brother of the thief Alberich, and subsequently to the dwarves of Mount Calava for 2 years. the time appointed for Wayland to return, his father, finding a ship big enough to carry him, waded through the Groensund to fetch him.
The what?
The Groensund.
What's that?
I presume that's the sea between
Oh,
Denmark
right, okay.
and Jutland, I
Thanks for
presume.
clarifying that.
Sometime subsequently, Wayland must have built a boat, because the legend goes on to say
Mm-hmm.
that Wayland then set off in his boat Gringelot with Bell, Wayland, and his brother Wayne,
Right.
and they crossed the North Sea, making landfall at Kettleness.
Isn't that near Whitby?
It is north of Whitby.
Rightio.
Wade and Bell then moved south to Mulgrave, where they built themselves a mighty castle, an ancient roadway known to this day as Wade's Causeway.
Uh-huh.
Wayne himself subsequently moved westwards, making his abode in the high hills of this garden at Hasty Bank,
Right.
and the rock formations known as the Wainstones are believed to be the remains of his castle.
Intriguing.
So now, I believe Mr. Beadle has
Yes.
a continuation.
I shall continue that tale, viewers. I'm going to kind of repeat elements of what Mr. Veeks just said, but it kind of connects anyway.
There are some
just for
alternative
clarification there,
retellings,
yeah.
aren't there?
There's kind
as
of like
well?
different versions of it. So my version of events is very slightly different to Master Veeks as regarding who actually came to the Wainstones. But I shall, without further ado, I shall continue
Who and how, yes.
my continuation. So, like I say, our Wainstone folktale continues with the giants Wade, wife Bell, Wayland, brother Wayne, they crossed the North Sea in the sailboat called Gringelot, which Mr. Veek neglected to mention is called Lucky Prow in Norse, apparently. My research kind of dug that up when I
That
did
is
an
correct,
online
yes.
check. Where they landed at Kettleness, like Mr. Veeks already explained, north of Whitby, around 750 AD, so roughly 40 years before the first Viking raids at Lindisfarne. So there might be a connection between those two, probably not. This was like a peaceful landing, wasn't it?
Indeed, yes.
Wasn't an invasion or anything like that. And there's a good reason as to why they came, which you'll discover presently, viewers. Clarification. They presently moved inland to Mulgrave, where they built the small but very luxurious family castle over a period of several years. They soon happily settled down to family life. Wayne helped out with the family and stuff. He kind of looked after the child and things like that. And he did like chores around the house, the castle. Eventually, he got a bit restless, and as much as he loved his brother and his sister-in-law, he felt a little bit of resentment and jealousy. The fact, that they were married and he wasn't.
Pined for a wife of his own, I
Yeah.
presume.
So he could, one night he got a little bit drunk with his brother, because like every week or so they had like they got the ale out and they had
the mead flowed freely.
a wassail or whatever you call it. I don't know if the Norse call it that, but the Saxons do. Yeah, the mead definitely flowed freely that night. Try saying that really fast as well. So anyway, one night he decided, after he'd had enough pots of mead, probably they come at 10 pints or something like that, because Wayne generally kept himself to himself. He was pretty taciturn, and it took a lot for him to confide in folk. But because this was his brother, and he's kind of feeling vulnerable. The fact that he was drunk brought out his true emotions, I think. And he basically sat down with him. There was just him and his brother, nobody else. He told him to keep this a secret, so he swore secrecy to him. Just keep it in the family, basically. Don't tell any strangers. And he said he was happy for his brother being married to Belle, but he wanted a wife for himself, because I think the fact that he saw them so happy together, he had a little bit of jealousy. He didn't mean to be jealous. It's just the way he was, really. It's I think it brought out his
Giant nature.
brought out his vulnerability, really.
It's just giant nature,
It's
isn't
kind
it?
of bittersweet in
Yeah.
that respect.
Yeah.
So Wade was fairly sympathetic to this, and he agreed that Wayne was old enough to take a wife, because in giant terms it'd be equivalent like his mid-20s, early 30s, which would be about the right age to get married in giant terms. So obviously he needed to find him a suitable wife to match his giant size in every respect, if you know what I mean, my Vagabond viewers. Bit of a double entendre there.
Not.
So Wade also agreed to Wayne's suggestion, as Belle was coincidentally pregnant, and they wanted
Another child.
another child. Yeah,
See already. And
yeah, they're obviously quite a prolific couple. Maybe the ale helped.
yeah.
So between them, they wanted Wayne to move out, for practical reasons, to make room for the new baby, because it wasn't that large a castle they were living in. It was large in human terms, but for giants, it was positively crammed. And they had like 4 rooms, and they didn't have a spare room. Wayne was sleeping in the spare room,
They wouldn't have had a spare room.
and that's why they wanted him out, so that they could turn it into a nursery for the baby, if that makes any sense. I'm sure it makes perfect sense to people who've been parents who's watching. So Wade then made the call across Yorkshire, hill and dale, to find a suitable wife for his bachelor brother. But unfortunately, as giant spinsters were in relatively short supply, only 2 responded to Wade's call. This is where the story gets interesting. Unfortunately, the first lady, as we call her, she's a troll lady, bless her.
That one with trolls.
Yeah,
Don't knock trolls.
exactly. That would be racism towards trolls. But Wayne, being picky like he was, he didn't find her attractive enough, and she was too old, so she wasn't a suitable candidate. Basically, she was like an old spinster. So this left him with Hobson's or Wayne's choice of another conveniently half-troll giantess called Ulfa, who was a daughter of Nidda, who was the troll chieftain of, is it Niddisdale?
Nidderdale.
Nidderdale.
Nidderdale
Thank
is
you
a
for
modern name
correcting
at
me
any
there.
rate.
Who, as being a troll, has to keep out of sunlight, conveniently lived in Stumpcross Cave. I don't know if any of our Vagabond viewers know that, but it's rather an interesting cavern.
Somewhere beyond Pateley Bridge. I
Somewhere beyond Pateley Bridge. Not too far from Druid's Temple, funnily enough. So a first meeting was formally arranged between our giant sweethearts, not yet lovers, at Wensleydale, but Mr. Weeks says it's not quite Wensleydale, Brimham Rocks.
Yeah, Swimming Rocks is still really Nidderdale.
Yeah, so he's been a little bit geographically pedantic there, but it's technically Wensleydale, as far as I know. Where are we up to? What page are we on?
Meeting at page 94.
Brimham Rocks with Nidda's troll cousin. Now, he's been mentioned before, viewers, for the viewers who pay attention to our videos. Mossback, who was presumably at this point in sort of middle age, acting as Ulfa's chaperone.
And the kind of go-between act, I suppose, between the 2 of them.
And a go-between. As trolls are traditionally just as protective of loved ones as humans are. There's an interesting fact.
People are the same everywhere, aren't they,
Yeah,
really?
basically, yeah. It doesn't matter if you're a troll or a human, we have the same characteristics of
Yeah.
love and hate within us. So Wayne and Ulfa met on May Eve, which was a fortuitous, obviously, date. Fertility, presumably the reason behind it. Didn't quite get on as expected, unfortunately. They didn't become sweethearts straight away. I think there's a bit of a personality clash going on here, because they both had very strong personalities. But there was a physical attraction from Wayne's side straight, because she was half giantess, so she had the beauty of the giants, balanced, by the troll side. So I think the giantess side was stronger genetics than the troll side, so that's why I found her attractive. She didn't quite find him as attractive. Maybe she didn't like beards or shaggy hair. Maybe she told me to get a haircut. We don't know the ins and outs, do we? All we can do is speculate.
Who was the giant's hair?
But yeah, she's probably karma, because remember, he was picky for the other troll, and she was being picky back on him. So kind of karma coming back at him there. So he was basically more attracted to her than she was to him, which often happens in real life as well.
Yes.
The path of true love doesn't always run smooth, as we know. So where are we up to now? So they met on Maeve. Didn't get on. I've covered all that. Ulfa, bless her, well, I can't say bless her, just said she wanted to be friends. So poor old Wayne was friend zoned, wasn't he? They had friend zoning even back then. It's a timeless thing. It's part of human and troll nature. This is where it gets interesting. I'm not saying Ulfa's a gold digger, but Wayne cunningly offered a dowry of a small but luxurious castle, almost, if not more impressive than his brother Wade's.
That is the castle here at the Wainstones.
Yes, so this location. 94 goats as a sweetener. Maybe trolls have a thing for goats, I'm not sure. Not in the biblical sense, by the way.
Well, trolls and billy goats certainly go a long way back, don't they?
Yes, they do, actually. It's a good point there, Master Beaksky. And this is the kicker. This is probably what clinched it. An engagement ring with a carved jet gemstone. So it kind of represented the family crest of Ulfa's kind of, the chieftain line.
Genuine Whitby jet.
Genuine Whitby jet. Which, he must have done his research here, coincidentally was Ulfa's birthstone as well. Which soon changed their obviously fickle mind to marry Wayne. So they eventually married, with Wayne and Ulfa's families naturally attending to bless the wedding, on Midsummer Eve. And didn't you have something to say about that? Something about the length of the day?
Bad time to get married.
Yeah.
Shortest night of the year.
Shortest night of the year. Wink, wink for those Vagabond viewers who know what he's talking about. Before moving into the small but luxuriously sturdy castle that Wayne and his brother Wade had constructed with their very own hands at this very spot where we are. In fact, this could be part of the foundations of the castle. Maybe that's why you chose this place to do the video.
It has a certain elemental ancient feel about it.
Very much so. So over the next 50 years, they steadily, as married couples do, grew, they accepted and they grew fond of each other. They accepted each other's quirks and they learned to love them. This is the sad bit, viewers, despite remaining childless. So they must have tried to have a child several times, but it didn't work. Obviously something didn't take. Either she was barren.
Legend is silent on that fact.
Yeah.
So we just know that they had never had children.
Or Wayne was firing blanks. I'm not apportioning blame to anybody.
It's one of them things.
Could have been either one, couldn't it? But this might have contributed towards I can't say the marriage broke down, but things turned bad shortly. That's all I'm going to say, viewers. They did hope to grow old together over the next 500 years. That's a reflection of just how long giants and trolls lived. 500 years is
long, slow lives.
Is nothing to them. It's maybe like 10 years to us, if that.
Long, slow lives for giants and trolls.
Yep, that's the thing. It comes of immense size. You've got immense age as well, connected together. Right, this is where the story gets a little bit sad, viewers. Ulfa was of a naturally curious disposition. It must have run in the family. So, despite being half troll, she'd always wanted to see a sunrise, and she'd never had the opportunity. And she always felt compelled at certain times of the year, usually on Midsummer Day, funnily enough, to sort of glimpse the sun rising, but she didn't quite dare go through with it. So eventually, she thought, why the heck not? I'm half giant. Maybe that will be stronger than my troll half. Unfortunately, viewers, she miscalculated. So she went out on the sunrise, Midsummer Day. Fortunately, she miscalculated, instantly turned to stone. No getting away from it. And, curiously enough, her face is alleged to be amongst these rocks that we've seen during our ramble here.
There are a number of suspiciously troll or giant head
We've seen
rocks
some very giant looking rocks, very anthropomorphic.
It's quite striking, actually.
And we speculated one of them could be, her gazing out. What direction do they gaze in again?
Well, she'd been gazing south and a little bit east for the sunrise,
Yeah, that makes sense, actually.
And certainly there is a rock that has facial characteristics that looks that direction.
Yeah, it looks like a very sort of regal sort of troll face, isn't it? Almost.
You could say so. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's quite striking.
Strong features, shall we say?
Definitely.
So anyway, she woke early. She wandered outside to see the sunrise, which instantly turned to a storm, after what he explained. Now, when Wayne found out about this, how do you think he felt?
Well, he was heartbroken, wasn't he?
He still loved her, but
He was
deeply.
heartbroken.
He was heartbroken, as Master Weeks just said. In fact, he was so heartbroken, he was positively suicidal. He wanted to end it there and then. He thought about this. He went on a bender for a whole week.
And a giant
Wade.
bender is something to be seen.
Something to be seen. He was hurling rocks left and right in his anger, which are scattered around here. You can still see the rocks around here that he's hurled in his anger and frustration. This is according to the folklore. I think that reflects just how
Intense
upset he was.
his feelings were.
Yeah, very much so.
Yeah.
Anyway, Wade heard about this. Being the supportive brother he is, he came along. Offered his support. What can I do to help? It's a tragedy. Life goes on. That didn't help. Went on another bender the next week. Threw more rocks about. He basically ruins the castle, the fortress, in his anger. I think that's my speculation. It wasn't time that did it. It was Wayne's anger.
Yeah,
that caused it to tumble down.
That sounds quite plausible.
Yes,
doesn't
exactly.
It? Doesn't it? Yeah.
So there's contention amongst scholars about that as to what actually caused the downfall of the fortress. Some believe it's sort of natural entropy that caused it to sort of break down over time, and others like myself speculate that it was Wayne taking out his frustration, on the fortress that indirectly contributed towards his wife's death.
Yeah. Well, indeed.
Yeah.
Indeed.
Tragedy. Now, after he went on this second bender, Wade thought, I've got to do something. This is my brother. If he carries on like this, he's going to do something stupid. Fortunately, Wade had a very good friend who we'd met when he first came to this this location, called Wizard Conrad.
He was the Wizard of Billsdale.
Yeah.
Based down towards what is now Helmsley.
Powerful wizard in these parts, but in another way not powerful. Because Wade suggested that perhaps Conrad could cast a spell to return Ulfa to life. However, they went to meet Conrad, and unfortunately he said this was beyond even his power, and he was a powerful wizard, viewers. So it's beyond...
I think he suggested that, generally speaking, turning to stone is irreversible.
Mm-hmm. There was a sliver of hope, but just a sliver. He did say that he knew Druid Moonstone, who's been mentioned before, I think, in some of our videos, was capable of casting reanimation spells, as he'd apparently done this before with Mossback's mother, but that was temporary.
Would he have the power to make it permanent?
Yeah, possibly.
Possibly.
He might have developed his powers. It's 100 years after, so his spells might have strengthened over time. He's got more skillful. So, like I say, it was a sliver of hope. But that's what Conrad told him. He says the only wizard I know is Moonstone who's capable of doing that. Now, unfortunately, Moonstone at this point was still sleeping in his hidden cave. Nobody knows where it is. It's somewhere in West Yorkshire, and there's a lot of speculation about its actual location. But Moonstone periodically sleeps every 94 years or so.
It might have been Goitstock, perhaps.
I've heard it was Inglebrook here, but
possibly.
I'm not
possibly.
sure. One or t'other. So, unfortunately, that option was out because nobody could locate Moonstone. And if he was hidden and sleeping, he wanted to remain hidden and sleeping. It's best not to disturb a sleeping wizard. They are worse than a bear with a sore head, I'm telling you. There is consequences.
Do you not meddle in the affairs of wizards?
Exactly. Well, he was a druid. He had magical powers.
Well,
like
absolutely.
Anyway, so they couldn't follow that route. So basically, this is where it gets a little bit even sadder, viewers. Wayne confessed to Wizard Conrad he couldn't live without his beloved soulmate Ulfa. So Conrad reluctantly agreed. He said, Wayne basically begged him. Said, if I can't live without, I don't want to live at all. So he agreed to a compromise. He said, I tell you what I'll do. I'm not going to kill you because that would be murder. That goes against my wizard ethics. But I'm going to give you the next best thing. I'm going to put you in a state of suspended animation. So basically...
Effectively turned to stone himself.
Yeah. So he suggested, he did have, this is the irony, he couldn't reanimate mortals or, creatures turned to stone, but he did have the power to turn flesh to stone, which is strange, that isn't it? It's one of those things. So he said, "I tell you what I'll do. You know, this will help ease your pain because you won't feel anything. I'll turn you to stone, and I'll put you right beside Ulfa. So even though you're not together, you will be together in a strange way."
There are two tall rocky towers up there.
Yes, and we
Makes you think, doesn't
speculate
it?
that could be them. And I touched it. I got like a feeling,
Yeah.
sensation. So I feel that's probably them. So he cast a spell on him, turned him into stone. So he's now beside his beloved. Well, he's been beside his beloved wife for over the last 1,000+ years. Now, there's a prophecy that says they will ultimately awake together, but only between the prophesied Fimbulwinter or Ragnarok,
The end of the world, the twilight of the gods.
whichever happens first, which is strange. So they remain there to this day, patiently awaiting, as Mr. Veeks just said, the end of the world. Now, didn't you have something else to add to this story?
Well, not much more to say, but I think the death of Wayne had an effect on his.
Not technically
Yes,
a death,
not a technical
suspended
death,
animation.
yes. Has quite a profound effect on his cousin, his nephew
Right.
Wayland.
So he's traumatized.
Yeah. So Wayland left the north, and he travelled by devious ways through North and West Yorkshire, through Derbyshire.
Was it too painful for him to live in the north?
I
then?
think so.
Right, understood. Makes sense.
And he took up abode in what is now Oxfordshire.
That's a long journey, isn't it?
It is a long journey. On the hills above Uffington,
Where the White Horse is.
where the White Horse is, at a place that is known to this day as Wayland's Smithy. Now,
What is it?
that is essentially the end of the story,
Right.
but there is a contemporary twist to this.
Oh yeah.
Um,
Plot twist.
well, yeah, this is the sort of most recent movement in the story.
Got you.
Given current events, the passage of Lord Creed through the land.
Ooh, sounds
Yes.
ominous.
The passage of Lord Creed through the land came dimly to the ears of Wayland, and he perceived
Big
that
ears.
Creed and his minions and his magic would be hostile to him and his kin.
He's hostile to everybody.
So he reached out in thought to his brothers Rumbold and far off Ilkley,
Telepathy.
and the giant Adam, who abode near Milk Hill above the hamlets of Alton Barnes and Alton Priors.
Not the biblical Adam, someone else.
No, giant Adam. That's what's on about him.
That's so clarifying.
And they held conclave, and it was decided that they would resist Creed in their own way, providing assistance and succour to mankind as they saw fit. And Wayland placed a magic about the smithy that none in Creedland would find nor desecrate it, save those who needed his help.
Put an invisible ward around it.
And he left that place and came to the ring and barrow of Barbary Castle on the approaches to Hackpen Hill.
Wow.
And in the waking world, his abode there can be found there now.
Hackpen Hill, could you explain where that is exactly?
It's in the Marlborough Downs in North Wiltshire.
All right. Not too far from Stonehenge.
Well, yes and no. For a given value of not too far, yes.
Intriguing.
Stonehenge is South Wiltshire.
That it shows that particular location.
Yeah.
I think it's got mystical significance.
Oh, the Wiltshire Downs are full of,
Right.
of stuff.
So it's
Much like round here.
logical that he chose that. Then.
Yes. Much like round here. Full of stuff.
Is there anything else that was about the legend of Wayland Smith? I mean, is there any prophecies about him, sort of, besides what you just said about him returning to help mankind and stuff? I guess
Well, we know more than that. But I believe he has been known to offer assistance already.
right.
In the
So he's
fight
kind of
against
awake.
Creed.
So he's awake. Then he's actively
Wayland.
helping us.
Like Rumbold, is very much alive and kicking.
He's another giant as well.
Yes. Rumbold is our giant in Ilkley.
Right.
Wayland is the giant in Wiltshire.
He's like your
and
patron giant.
you can think so.
Yeah.
And he is possibly connected with the Guardians of Time and Space.
Oh, right.
You know, the Librarian, the Green Man,
Right.
the Piper.
So can he sort of traditionally forge magical weapons, Wayland? Then?
He does. He's not called Wayland the Smith for nothing.
Right. So that's maybe what his role's going to be then.
Remember, he learnt his smithing off Mimir.
Yeah. So he can forge swords, spears,
Magical weapons, whatever.
anything bladed.
Yeah.
That is inspiring and intriguing at the same time. Have you got anything else to add to that to inspire our Vagabond viewers before we end this video, Master Veek?
I think that will do for now.
Yeah. I hope you all enjoyed the video and you found the location suitably elemental. It's certainly been an elemental day for us both.
Certainly has.
very-
We haven't got a brighter day, but it's what it is.
Very misty, eerie.
Yeah, eerie, definitely.
It feels like a liminal space. I think you'd agree with me on that.
Aye.
Yeah, but I feel we were, like, I know you hate this word, fated to come here today. It feels like we were meant to come on this particular day under these conditions to tell this tale.
Well, we have the story, we have the place, and we have the time.
Yeah, it might have had a different kind of feeling if it was in like bright sunshine.
We'd have probably
Maybe it's
told it a
meant to
bit
be like
differently.
this.
Yeah, maybe
Yeah.
so.
So on that,
A tale for a snowy, for a foggy day.
yeah, very much so.
Yeah.
So I hope you enjoyed this latest folktale video, viewers, as much as we enjoyed telling it. And if you enjoyed it, please give a like, comment, and if you feel so inclined, please subscribe. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll say Vagabond farewell for now. Take care, viewers.